welcome to another episode of the How'd I Get Here podcast, the podcast for positivity, progression, and finding your own path. It's your co-host, Mr. Brown, Broken Ugly, Jake.
Your boy Spence, King Aquarius, wealth strategist, gang.
He's like, are they going to introduce me?
I don't know if I do a shout out for myself.
No, I feel
As you
bad because we
should.
normally give people a rundown, but everybody took a bathroom break, and I forgot to give you a not a bathroom break, a rundown of what we're supposed to do.
It's fine.
But yes, folks, we have comedian GOAT Darren Rivera, but I feel like I'm not going to do you any justice. So
No, that's it. That's all.
that's
That's
it.
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's
Cut and dry.
From Hartford, Connecticut. Darren Rivera, Rice and Bean Joker. I'm happy to be here.
yes.
Did you say rice and bean joker?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
it's just my alias.
Oh, for real?
You're
Yeah.
Queen Aquarius. He's
King Aquarius. The disrespect.
What do you-
That's what was funny is that he had that title and he's questioning me now.
So he's been going by that alias, what, 3 weeks now?
I think so, like 3.
3 weeks.
Three of them.
But that's the thing, like people always ask me, like, since college, like, oh, how you doing? Oh, Brown, Broken, Ugly. Like, I don't know why I'm not broke or ugly, but it just clicks, right? I've been saying that since we started this. So he's like, yo, I need an alias, and he came up with Queen Aquarius. And like, do you like that?
It's the subtle disrespect, bro. Just say king. Why does that hurt so much?
It just, I don't know. What do you think about the name?
I thought it started off disrespectful because I thought you were saying that about him, Brown,
Oh.
like that's, and then he was gonna say something about you.
said I misinterpreted
so when he
the
said
whole thing.
Aquarius, I said, "Oh, wait a minute, wait, what are we doing here? We giving out zodiac signs already? Shit.
Oh yeah, we tried that. It didn't go well. It didn't go well.
Facts.
Nah, y'all said it's smooth, so like it could work.
It's come a long way. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we progress.
It seemed like y'all said it before.
yeah. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it.
3 times.
But shit, what up, big guy? You got the
Question of the day?
Yes, sir.
Definitely. So I saw a funny meme on Twitter, right? And it was old LeBron talking to young LeBron in high school, and he was saying, "Don't go to LA." So with that in mind, if you could talk to your 10-year-old self, what would you tell them?
Damn. My 10-year-old self. It would probably be
Was that 4th grade?
yeah, 4th grade self. Don't. And this is the first thing that comes to mind. I probably might change this.
Okay.
If you asked, like, gave me some time to think about it. 10-year-old self, I'd tell myself, don't be afraid to look a fool.
Ooh.
Yeah. There was a lot of times growing up that I would kind of want to do something or take a path, but I was afraid of the outcome or afraid of how I would look. So I would maybe shy away from it. And now that I look back on it, I hate these questions because it makes it sound as like, oh, I would change something about my past. But like I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I know that, and I accept that. So it's hard for me to say like I would go back and change anything. But with that being said, it's like maybe I wished a couple things were a little different, you know. So don't be afraid to look like a fool.
Cool.
I guess I would say it's gonna be okay because when I was 10, like I was leaving New York and moving to Pennsylvania with my father, and I thought it was supposed to be just like a visit. You know, so it changed my whole personality because I'm thinking I'm just here for the summer.
Right.
And then I ended up staying there from that time until senior year of high school
Wow, that's a long summer.
because I thought I was still waiting to go back. So I think I would tell myself at 10, it's going to be all right. It's the right move. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be a move. I would have told, that's about it because like you said, anything that I've done has gotten me to there today. So I'm like, I wouldn't really want to change anything. Just let myself know it's going to be all right.
Dope. What would I tell my 10-year-old self? Honestly, I was genuinely a troublemaker in 4th grade.
I could see that.
Yeah, so I went to a Christian school in
Could not see
Manchester,
that.
right?
I did not see that. King
And to
Aquarius.
me, I was like, I was just rebellious. And I had this teacher who, honestly, I think she used to single me out because I was the only black person damn near in the school. Looking back at it now, but I was like, yo, why are you like, I would say any little thing and she would kick me out of class. So I remember how like my parents ended up taking me out of school is she used to put me like out in the hallway. It was like used to be my spot, right? So I thought I'd be slick. And I wrote the F word in pencil on the wall. And I go inside and I'm like, miss, somebody wrote a swear on the wall. In my spot, the only spot that, like I'm the only person who goes to this spot. And she's like, Spencer, go to the office. I'm like, why? What do you mean? So honestly, I'd probably be the same thing. Because if I stayed at that school, like it wasn't accredited. I don't even know why. Like my parents sent me that. I think they just wanted me to be different.
Wait, so you would do the same thing you said?
Hell yeah. I'd probably do it sooner.
You wouldn't change?
So you would see your 10-year-old self and just high five
Because
yourself?
It's like,
yeah, like
you did good.
Use permanent marker this time.
No,
Because that chalk gets
so-
on your hands. They know.
Because they took me out of public school to put me in this school that wasn't accredited, right? So people who graduated from that school, they didn't really do much with themselves. Like they had to go to the like extra mile. So, yeah, no, I'm glad I did what I did.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like I would say they put you there because you needed God in your life, but you know,
This is like you trying to get canceled again?
that's a very good question, and it just makes me think of like how we do things different in life in general, and that brings me to like my first thought of COVID, and when I saw you perform at the Funny Bone. I don't want to give too much of your content up, but you spoke a little bit about like how we dealt and survived through COVID. And didn't you say you kind of got in a relationship?
I got out of a relationship.
So you were smart. I was stupid and tried to get in one.
No.
Didn't work out.
I got out of a relationship right before COVID kind of hit. And I moved in with my boy, and it was like the whole time I'm like, I could not imagine living with somebody that I wanted to get out and I couldn't, because then you really feel trapped. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like I mean, it broke relationships that loved each other. So what was it going to do to a relationship that was definitely going to be over? Like that's
regardless.
Oh, I mean, that's on stage, man. COVID changed everything. COVID changed relationship humor, because before you were making fun of the couples. But now you're talking to couples that just survived.
And you empathize with them.
Yeah, they survived this pandemic together. So now it's just like, nah, I ain't laughing at that no more.
You strong.
Right, yeah.
Wow. Could you imagine? I mean, I know it's been a minute since you've been in a relationship, but can you imagine like going through COVID? I mean, we're still in it, but like going through that first year and a half, just like, cooped up with like your ex.
I'm
Not even your ex, like a one night stand. Like you wanted to leave in the morning and she didn't, because she just stayed the whole pandemic.
The city is my palace.
That's the ultimate.
Wait, that's how you and your ex got together?
No. I was saying, could you imagine? That would be the worst situation.
This is no shade to anybody who this happened to, but I'm happy I didn't come out of COVID with a kid.
Ooh, a lot of
I
COVID
got
babies.
a 6-month-old, so I can't say the same.
Oh damn!
Like, yeah.
But you're also older than I am. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't know what I would have done with a kid, with someone like you said that I was just hooking up with because I found him on Tinder because we were bored.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Or some just like at what, 27, 28, just being like, all right, now you're stuck in the house, and here's a kid.
But the flip side to that is, because I know some people that did go through that, it let them be there the whole time, where normally they wouldn't have been.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, that's
so
a good
like,
point.
I talked to a couple of my boys that would have been working. They would have missed out on that.
Right.
I work a lot, so I missed out on my newborn, where the pandemic would have kept me home, and I would have saw everything. I would have been a part of everything. Automatically, that would have rechanged her path.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's great when you see dad when he's home, but if you saw dad all the time and I have a daughter, that's a whole makeup.
Right.
That's a chip. That's a piece in the puzzle for that. Like, you know what I mean?
And I think that's the thing for me. Like, I'm right now just trying to wrap my head around being in a relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So now, like, I could admit, like, sometimes the question, like, yo, are you ready for a relationship? Then it's like, okay, are you ready then for, like, what comes next? Because we don't, at this point, we're not dating just to date. You know what I mean? For shits and giggle. So it's one of those things like.
Trying to put a baby in that.
At some point. Not right now.
So I have a question. So was your daughter, I guess this is a tough question to ask on camera. Was your daughter was this a plan? Like you wanted this to happen?
Nah. So I had met my girl in November, and I'm 45.
Okay.
So she was about to be 40. I got a 20-year-old. My 20-year-old turns 21 in March. At the end of March.
Where we at?
Congratulations.
Right.
Where we celebrating?
Let me tell you. So it was nowhere near planned. She was married before me. She was married for 15 years. She couldn't have children. They said that she couldn't have kids. So she was already in the mentality of taking care of her mom. We just put her in a home.
Right.
I'm like, good. I don't want any more kids.
Like the next phase of life almost.
And then within a month, she was pregnant. So our whole honeymoon phase has been the pregnancy.
You got the juice, my boy.
You know what I mean? And now we got, our baby just turned 6 months yesterday.
Wow, that's a blessing, though.
Yeah, it's such a blessing. I mean,
right.
it's a miracle baby, and I'm at a different place than I was when I was from my 20-year-old.
Right.
And I got a great relationship with my 20-year-old, so it's full circle.
Right. And you get to see it through a different lens as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Through a different lens.
Absolutely.
That's great. And one thing about that is a lot of people, and this kind of is segueing into our topic for the day, which is, cancel culture and canceling through, I guess, comedy and just life in general. A lot of people would say like, oh, well, maybe not at an older age, but choose not to be a present parent. You know what I mean? Right. And that's one of the things that a lot of people get canceled, for lack of better terms, for
not being a present parent.
Yeah. Agreed. What do you think?
I think the culture we live in, like where we grew up, I feel like there's a lot of, people having sex and not ready to have a kid. And then there's that awkward dialogue when the girl's like, hey, my period's late. I'm about to have a baby. And then the guy's like, we about to do what? And again, like where we grew up, I don't think there's much say in the matter. I don't think there's much say in the matter in general when it comes to like that. And I don't want to dive too deep into that. But I think it's
No, but you kind of hit on it. A lot of people say men shouldn't have any say on what women do with their bodies. So they try to cancel certain politicians and things like that.
Right.
I just think it's not.
Since when have you been wanting to walk on the line? Like, you're being careful right now.
Yeah, because first of all, it's women. It's what is this?
Women History.
Oh,
Women's History Month.
Yes.
Yeah, but also it's like I don't think it's people aren't good at having a dialogue, right? I don't think it's fair for the woman to keep said child that the man specifically says, listen, I don't want to have a kid right now. I'm not in a place to nourish this kid, provide for it financially. And they still go ahead and have it. And now it's like for the next 18 years, it's straight turmoil between the two because one wasn't ready. One decided to have it. God bless.
But you knew what you were doing when you were...
Yeah, but it's like, you having sex, but it's like, we understand it's a risk, but... this is what contraceptives are for.
No, it's not that it's not that we understand it's a risk. We know what's the worst that could happen or the best that could happen. There's people there's couples out there that are fighting for that to happen.
Yeah.
And there's the rest of us that are like, I hope this doesn't happen. Yeah. I know that when I was with younger girls, that conversation would have scared me. I would have been like, so what you gonna do? But to have it with somebody that was older, she didn't even know she wanted to keep the baby. She was like, I was like, oh shit, that's right. It's up to you, okay. I was devastated because I was like, no, this is a blessing. There's something here.
Right.
If you've always wanted to, what it really was that she didn't want to do it by herself, and I couldn't imagine being a 40-year-old female, and being like, I'm gonna be a single parent at 40. Like it's hard being parents at 40, let alone doing it by yourself.
Parent.
That's why single parents, I think, are more younger. You know what I mean? Because when you're older, you wouldn't put yourself in a situation like that.
So, controversial question, right? Do you think, I don't know if the word's fair, but do you think it's right that at any age, if a woman's going to have a child by you and you're not ready, that she still goes ahead and has it. And now, because you're not together, you weren't planning, maybe you weren't planning on being together. Now for the next 18 years, you're hung up on child support. And now you have a child that's now really your responsibility, not by choice, but now it's like, here we are, right? Like, step up to the plate.
Not that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to play devil's advocate, and this is coming off the top, so it might be a terrible example.
Okay.
But let's say you leave the house, right? You leave here and get into a car accident, God forbid, and kill somebody, or, you know, something bad happens, right? Is it fair that you are to be held responsible for that?
One's a choice. What do you mean?
You made the choice to speed. You know, you get what I'm saying?
Was I driving reckless, or was I just driving and something happened?
Let's say you were...
It's the same thing, because if you have a kid, that means you were having sex reckless. Like, if you get a girl pregnant...
Not necessarily.
If you get a girl pregnant, you were having reckless sex. It wasn't protected. You weren't being smart about it. Like, that's reckless.
Unprotected sex is reckless?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is wild. Does it feel great?
Is it
Absolutely.
amazing? Yes. But is it reckless? Hell yeah.
Yes.
It is.
I'm glad we got that definition out there.
No, because what got me was you kept saying, you were like, what if you're not ready? Like, you not.
So why you not wearing a condom?
No, we never ready. Like, even when you plan it, you're not ready. Like, that can't be the case. Then you shouldn't do it if you're not ready.
I feel like there's...
that part.
So people shouldn't have sex unless they're ready to have a kid. Is that what you're saying?
People shouldn't have unprotected sex.
You can have protected sex, the condom breaks, and here we are.
Yeah, but the chances of that over not caring and being reckless, and you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get pregnant, believe it or not. And there's so many people that do it so easily. But for the condom to break and that, like, that's a once in a blue. That means that was supposed to be your kid. Like, you know
right.
What I mean?
Like, that kid is supposed to be here. So let me ask you a question and kind of switch gears a little bit.
Yeah.
So y'all remember the show? What was it on MTV?
Next.
It was a great show. What was it, like 18 and pregnant or?
Yeah,
16
and pregnant.
Like
16 and pregnant.
I never watched
Do you guys feel like television and things like that kind of contributed to the turn in society, or teen mom that kind of made that change in society, that made things like that more accepted? Because remember, like, when we were kids, there really wasn't, when we were kids, no offense, but like there wasn't young people getting pregnant. Now, like, one of my 8th graders graduated last year, and she's now a freshman and pregnant.
I feel like
You've been doing that a lot today.
So I just heard a crazy story and I learned something new. So I think people of color, or like in certain areas, are more sexually active than people in the suburbs. Because I was having this conversation with my boy, right? And I'm not going to tell you the story he told me because it's ridiculous. But basically, he was talking about how an uncle was egging on his nephew at a very young age to have sex. And I was like, okay, I mean, I lost my virginity at a young age. And I asked him, he's like, well, I lost my virginity at 16. So then I continued to ask a bunch of people, white people, black people, Spanish people, when they lost their virginity, and found that a lot of colored folks like have sex at a very young age compared to the average white person that I asked that night. There was like 15 people I asked.
So what's the point? What do you?
So
I was like, that's a cool stat.
So
Throwing out stat at this point.
To that point, I think it's well, you were saying that, you know, I didn't grow up with kids our age having kids. I mean, in my school, like early in high school, there was definitely girls pregnant. Not in middle school, but definitely like sophomores.
Yeah, I think throughout time, it was just different lifestyles. Like when in the 50s, they were still getting pregnant at 19 and 20, 18.
Right.
They were just married already because
that was
there was in society at that time, it was like you had to be married. You know, you find your mate and you work it out for the rest of your life. You have a family, you have a house, you have all that. That was that perfect life. But it's like women. That's when women are the most sought after in that age group. You know what I mean? Right. If you really think about it, like what a woman has to go through to stay on top of her game as she gets older, is like we get older, we get distinguished. You know, like you know what I mean? Like women have to like work so hard just to keep stable just to get by.
Right.
Because their prime is like from the 16 to like the 24. Where our prime is older.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like and there's so much pressure on that too. Like, so doesn't matter the time frame. Women were always getting pregnant when in their 18s to like 20s.
Right.
That's when
different.
they're fertile. I mean, that's when they're the most fertile. Like, think
Other
about
things
it. You
were
talk to a woman
happening.
right now about turning 30.
Yeah.
That clock is ticking. You know what I mean? I've had friends that told me that like you could really hear, like you feel it as a woman because you're like, yo, I'm 30. Like, you know, like because society makes you feel like you should have a kid by now. You should do all this by now. You know, like I thought I come from older generation where my girl's 40. I said, oh, this is gonna be a complicated pregnancy.
Right.
They were like, nah, this is normal nowadays. Like, and it's
Really?
like, wow, because we're adapting more. Where it's like, stop pressuring women to have a child so early in life. Let them live life the same way we live life.
Well, people were also dying earlier back then. Like,
Same thing. Yeah,
like people were living longer, significantly longer now.
So I'm glad you hit on like the timeline and the clock and things, because I call it the supposed to be life, right? Like society dictates that you're supposed to graduate at 18,
Right.
supposed to go to college, find your dream job, your dream partner in college, move in by 24, married by 25, you know, like things that you're supposed to do, but that timeline is getting pushed back. So why is it now that society is so easy to, I don't want to say like cancel things, but things like that are more acceptable?
Because it's technology. Like in the past, there wasn't social media platforms.
Right.
You had an opinion. That's what it was. It was your opinion to yourself or to your friends in your basement.
That
But
community.
now all you got to do is just get a Twitter handle. All you got to do is go on and complain or write a review. Like it was, we're so free with our stuff now that everything is put into check. Everyone's got an opinion. You're never going to do a show especially in comedy where like everyone's going to like you.
Right.
You're not funny to everybody, but now people feel like I got to tell them. I got to tell them that I don't like them. And it's like, you don't got to tell me shit. Like, just don't laugh.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's that,
So is society too sensitive?
I think so.
Yeah.
Why? Like,
Well,
I get what you're saying. It's now, is it are we too sensitive, or is it like you just said, shit's just now in our face now? Because you still saying the same shit that you would have said 5, 10, 15 years ago. It's just,
No, we're too sensitive because we became like, we got to acknowledge everything.
Right.
And you did a good job, because the sensitive kids from my generation start to have kids. And they know what that was like to be bullied. So then they were like, oh, well, we're not going to do that with our kids. So now we're going to stop this.
Yeah.
So now everyone's got to get an award or everyone has to have, you know what I mean? Like
spanking their kids.
And that's where it started to change. We just became more sensitive because it's like you
Even
couldn't
look at
just walk
sports.
away and lose.
right.
Because that might build something. We got to make, hey, there's no win or lose. This is for fun.
Yeah. Here's your feelings.
And that's where what the backlash to that is that people get more opinionated about everything.
Right.
You go to a comedy show to laugh, and then you're sitting there waiting to get offended, to complain about it. Why did you even go? Why did you go?
Right.
Like, and especially in Connecticut. I mean, Connecticut is, I love Connecticut for comedy.
It's a weird place.
It's an honest place because it's so different. You could be in Bridgeport one night, then you could be up in Avon. I was in Hamden, then Westbrook, and then Glastonbury.
Right.
3 different crowds, though. And that's Connecticut. But the one thing everyone has in common in Connecticut is we don't give a shit. We don't we're not really. We just don't want to get offended.
Yeah.
We're judging you. We're so judgmental out here, and we're self-entitled out here.
That part.
So I'll never understand the crowds, but the crowds out here, they don't want to laugh at themselves. But when you call them out and you know what you're saying, then they acknowledge it.
So is it easier to tell somebody about themselves or tell somebody, and I, like you could speak to comedy, I guess we could just speak in general, right? Tell somebody about themselves or tell somebody about a situation that they can just relate to and be like, where you're not really telling them about it, but where they can maybe make that connection. Because I feel like when, like, people tell me all the time, like, yo, Jake, you're too aggressive. And it's like, why am I too aggressive? Because I told you what you didn't want to hear?
Right.
That just means you're soft. maybe could I have worded it a little better? Maybe, but I told you what you needed to hear. So, so now I'm wrong.
So to play devil's advocate, how do you know they needed to hear it from you at that point in time?
So like I said, I might have could have rapped it better, told you at a different time.
No, not like.
No, you
not
said you
even,
made the choice for them.
Like, you're saying something. I'm going to take it upon myself. This is a Connecticut mentality, like he's saying. Right. I'm going to take it upon myself to point this out to you right now, and I'm going to say it how I want to say it because I think you do. You mean well by it. Right. The delivery, from what I've seen, could be better sometimes. But
here's my thing, and maybe it's selfish. I run in a small circle, right? If I'm with you, I care about you, right? So I'm not going to continue watch you running in the same circles, doing the same shit, right? If I could at least be like, hey, as a friend, people gonna always do what they want to do, right? But if I could do my part and at least tell you, hey, bro, this shit don't look right, I did my part as a friend. At the end of the day, you gonna do what you want to do. But,
as long as they know that that's you.
Right. As long as I'm authentic and coming at you, because I feel like you, right? God forbid your girl's cheating on you, right? Mm-hmm. Once. All right, cool. Yeah, maybe she fucked up. Go back. Right. Second, third, fourth, fifth times. Like, all right, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Now you just stupid.
You saying I'm gonna stay with my lady if she cheat on me?
No, but I'm saying like
he did say. He said 4 times.
Yeah. I was like, all right, jeez.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, I would be a bad friend if I wasn't like, hey, bro, like, maybe you're not digging her down right or something. That she's going somewhere else. Like, but you get what I'm saying?
Now, do you feel as a good? When does the good friend tell him? The first time,
the
second time, the third, or the fourth time, or do you tell him every time?
Second time and on.
Second time and on.
First time.
I'm telling you the first 2 times, and that's the last time I'm telling you. Like, because I already told you twice. If you're gonna do it, that's you. I already told you twice.
Are they still your peoples though? Like you told them twice, and they're gonna keep doing their thing.
I'm telling you because you're my people. So like, I'm letting you know. I'm not gonna wait.
But like, are you gonna look at them differently, or are they still like that's your peoples?
You're just stupid a little bit.
Honestly, I would look at them differently if in that situation with something else. Anything else, like me letting them borrow money or me counting them for something or them counting on me for something, that's something completely different.
But your choice.
But if I saw them checking somebody about their relationship, I'd be like, well, yeah.
No, you don't get to talk.
Yeah. I told you once, you know what I mean? Like, and I really feel like I'm gonna have to tell you twice, like, and it doesn't bother you, like, and but you can't force somebody to, a good friend just lets him be. But as long as you gave them the tools to do it. Like,
but how do you sit there and just watch your friend like?
It's acceptance. You accept them for who they are.
So then that says more about me.
Yeah.
I think it says no because everyone has their own journey and their own path that they want to follow. And I mean, I have a very good friend of mine and we live completely different lives. And it took me a while, but I just have to accept that. Yeah. It's like, yo, listen, you don't want what I want out of life, and that's okay. But also, like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I feel bad because why are you settling? Like,
it's frustrating.
Right.
Like, you my homie. Like, I want to see you do so
I see
good.
your potential, but like, you don't want to live up to it, and I guess that's okay because the potential I see isn't up to me, but. Like,
if they don't want it, they don't want it. That's the thing. I mean,
you can't want something.
And I think
more
sometimes we're harder on our people because deep down inside we want that. We want somebody to be hard on us.
Yeah.
So like if somebody was yelling at me like this, I would get my shit together. So you automatically give that to somebody. Like a lot of times you arguing with yourself. Like
I think people need to learn the hard way. So it's like. I see how you could be doing something better, but it's like you need to learn this lesson for yourself. And if you keep repeating that lesson, then it's just like, bro, like, what are we doing?
You clearly don't get it.
Yeah, I told you 1, 2, 3 times.
Everyone has a friend that does that. Like, same mistake.
Man, remember when we first started and we used to just have to use a phone as a camera, set it up, run back around, get in place, and just hope for the best?
Yeah, bro. Now we got some quality and reliability behind the camera. Matter of fact, we live in Lavish.
Lavish Life Films, the official videographer of the How'd I Get Here podcast.
Book them for all your videographer and editing needs.
So, don't you hate when you're driving around Hartford or just wherever you live and you see a beautiful brand new black car and you can just look directly inside of it? It's like they're just fishbowling.
Yo, that's wild, bro, because you just described Toothless, my brand new car. But I got somebody to fix that. Platinum Wraps. They got everything you need from tints for your windows to wrapping cars and even caskets.
Oh, Platinum Wraps in Bloomfield, where basic is not an option.
Yeah, bro, they'll take care of you. And shout out to Platinum Wraps for being our official sponsor for this season. So then, how do you know where to draw the line? Like you as a comedian when you're performing, and then I guess as friends. So we talking about like two different things. How do you know where to draw the line? Like, all right, maybe I'm going too hard, or maybe that's not my business, or maybe, maybe I shouldn't say this in this crowd, or,
Honestly, I think when you get to a certain point, it's never. I'm not doing it for anybody in that crowd. I'm doing it for me. Like, the best comedians tell their life. And they wrote the jokes for them. And they didn't write it for. So when people get offended, it's like, I didn't write this for you. Well, my dad went through that. Well, I still didn't write this for you.
I don't know you.
And that's a hard thing for people to accept because they relate to you and they're like, well, it sounds like you talking about me. And it's like, no. Like my ultimate goal is to put it all out there. It's to have fun. Like to genuinely, I love making people laugh.
Right.
So like to go up there and to learn to deal with my life and my tragedies and put it on stage in a funny way. If someone comes up to me and they're like, yo, we about to have a newborn and you killed it. Like that's all I wanted. That's
right.
all. That's what I want to do
that's
it for.
Enough, right?
That's very interesting. So you don't have like a specific, in my business, clientele or demographic that you're trying to appeal to, or that like you notice you appeal to more. Like so.
No, I think it's from doing comedy in Connecticut.
I was gonna say because you said you went to a bunch of different places, which a lot of different people. So like
right.
The Hamden crowd and the Glastonbury crowd, did they laugh at the same jokes?
Yeah, funny is funny.
That's dope.
But you learn that. Like so many, when comics come into this game, they wanna rush the process. They just want to get to where they see success, that's a good drive. But it's just with time.
Right.
With time,
repetition.
One thing I learned about doing comedy out here was it wasn't about changing it up for a black crowd or a Puerto Rican crowd or a white crowd. Funny's funny. Let me just deliver it that's honest to me, and that's what they're going to see. Because that's all it really is. Puerto Rican and black crowds, they're just honest. Right. And all of us think we're funnier than the people on stage all the time because we're funny in our family. Because that's how you were talking before about us having sex early.
Yeah.
And it's because we deal with poverty that way. We deal with being poor that way. Hey, boredom that way. What are we going to do? We're going to explore ourselves. We're going to
Right.
That's.
Wow. That's real. Yeah. Because, the GOAT, Dave Chappelle, right?
Of course.
His jokes, I just feel like they're funny to everybody because the way he tells his story.
That's what it is. It's the way he's telling it. Because he's showing you that, look.
It doesn't matter.
It's not about you. This isn't, I think every comic has that feeling, and it kills. The feeling on stage when you bomb it's the worst feeling in the world. It makes you stronger, but you go from a high to a low instantly and you're only going off of each show.
Yeah.
Friday night you killed. Man, I'm on top of the world. I'm about to invest in myself. Saturday I bomb. I'm about to jump off the bridge. That's the highs and lows of it that people don't see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So pertaining to cancel culture, have you said a risky joke in a crowd and they're just not necessarily bombed, but you could tell the Connecticut crowd was offended.
There's always the stuff that you're gonna say. If you say sex, there's certain sexual jokes that the crowd's always gonna, depends on how you say it. There's always a way to say it. I think what changed a lot too with the cancel culture is that when Barack became president, throughout the time, every comic made fun of every president. It didn't matter if they were Republican or Democrat. They were they were just a puppet to make fun of. All the Tonight shows did it and all that. But when Barack became president, now you're making fun of a black person. And that's when, okay, now you're being racist.
Wow.
So then by the time Donald Trump came around, now it's like the flip side of it. And then what was happening in the crowds where you try to amp up the wrong people. I did shows where some clubs would be like, don't say anything political. Don't say anything about Trump because it sets off the whole show. The show just now becomes divided. And it's like, damn. And then now we're also dealing with the cancel culture because of that. Because it was like, I had a girl at the casino walk out when I said, where are my Latinos at? She told the club I was racist. They were like, no, he's not. She went back in. I had a great set. She still, just because I asked, I'm Puerto Rican. I just asked the crowd where my Latinos at. That was it. And she was already taking it to a whole race thing. Ready to be, hopefully now I would get like in trouble.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and it's like that, and that's the thing. People, that's what people hope. They need I need to write a review, and I need to see your shit get shut down.
I'm hopping on Yelp.
Like, what do you
right
get
now.
out of that? You know what? Like, what do you get out of being a bitter?
That's a horrible way to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably got gray hairs.
Some people
like
master
20.
that.
And it's crazy.
Some people master their bitter life.
So speak on Dave Chappelle, because you brought him up, and I know you like people done tried to cancel Chappelle 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times.
And I don't understand. If you watch any of his recent stand-ups, it's genius. Like, he's not making fun of anybody. He's not saying anything to hurt anyone's feelings. He's literally trying to be as quote unquote politically correct as possible while still making it funny. He obviously he teeters the line, but like every comedian should. That, like you said, why come to the show?
Right.
Why watch the special on Netflix if you're just looking to be offended?
You chose to be here. You chose to tell the song.
Like, you showed up just to be mad? Like
that, but that's
how much did you pay for these tickets?
like I always say that's people from New England because of the weather. Like, it's either hottest shit or coldest shit.
Yeah.
And recently it's been in the same day.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so automatically I ain't got no sports team out here. It's cold as shit. It's hot as shit. Oh, I'm bitter. Like, you know what I mean? Everywhere I drive, 91, 84, everywhere. Traffic. I'm mad now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, and so that's just New England, but it's really society right now.
Right.
Like, everyone's just bitter as shit. Like, what somebody they like didn't win, and now it's become this craziness. So I'm gonna cancel everything.
So is cancel culture really effective?
No, it makes you want to hear it more. I feel like.
So
Think about back in the day, Lenny Bruce, when you censor somebody, especially a comedian. Now you already you're already creating a fan base because now people are like, well, what did he say?
Right.
What is he talking about? I want to hear it.
Now I need to see.
So you wanted to cancel him, and you just doubled his clientele, his audience, his ticket sales.
So remember when we were in school and like somebody would bother you or somebody would hit you or say something, and we would say like ignore them, they'll leave it alone. It's literally the complete opposite. You know what I mean? Because now it's like Spencer said, "Oh, did you hear what Spencer said? We got to cancel him." Well, nah, I didn't hear what Spencer said. Nah, I got to go actually listen.
Because
it's almost like bad press is good press sometimes because of it now. Like, you know,
there's no bad publicity. It's just publicity. Like, it's all perspective. I mean,
DaBaby, was that bad publicity?
First of all, DaBaby's my guy. I will like.
Are you familiar with what he said? The rapper?
Wait, what? Yeah, what did he say before
before he defended
before you get us canceled.
right?
So at one of his shows,
that was weird.
And I'm gonna paraphrase.
That was so weird.
He says something about like, shout out to all my fans, especially the gay ones without HIV or AIDS or something along those lines. And then he basically tried to come out afterwards and be like, nah, my listeners are all practice safe sex. And like, one, you gotta really walk a line with the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
Well said. You actually said it right.
Yeah, I'm not you, but
I was hoping you weren't gonna make me say it. I was like, I got the message. I said,
yeah, that's one of those things that you messed that up. It's a wrap.
Right,
but it's
right.
So like people for that were trying to cancel him, and then that's almost like Dave Chappelle came out and said, it's like, bro, y'all wanted to cancel this man for talking about gay people, but he murdered somebody.
He's literally killed somebody. Yeah.
Right.
Granted, it was in self-defense, but it's still like, so what's worse? Talking about gay people or killing somebody? But that's maybe how sensitive society has come.
The whole bit he does about him just trying to understand how gay people have just made it further than black people.
Right.
The way he does that, and it's like people are watching that, being like, nah, he's saying something about. No, he is not.
Listen to what
he's saying. Hey, that's great that they made it here. I just want to know how did they make it here that fast without going through what we are still going through. That's it. And nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear the truth.
Right.
That's what you were saying before. Like, it's the truth. Like, everyone's afraid of their truth. But yet that's everyone says, just be honest with me, be honest with me. Like, well, what honesty do you want? Do you want the honesty that you could take, or do you want honesty?
They don't want Jacob's honesty. They want the honesty that is in their comfort zone. Whereas, again, that's why it's great having friends like Jacob, because he's going to call you on your shit.
You know what you're going to get from him.
Exactly. He's like, yo, we going to be boys. If he sees me slacking, do whatever, he's going to call me out on it. But also vice versa, because, like, well, you set that tone, you got to take it back, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I can take it.
Yeah, facts.
I think.
Yeah. Just people are super sensitive.
And I think that, like, look at Kevin Hart, for example. People done tried to cancel him 1,000,001 times.
Plus, he's on top. People always want to see who's on top go down.
Yeah. Chris Brown. I mean, granted, not. All right, the Rihanna thing was wrong.
You find the weirdest comparisons.
No, but my thing is, like, how many
What
times?
I'm saying is just like Chris Brown. They got to talk about it.
But like Chris Brown, right? How many times has Chris Brown been accused of, like, rape and then found nothing actually ever happened? People are just trying to extort him, bro. It's happened that I could, like, recollect at least 4 times.
Same with, like, professional NBA players. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They want money. Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the day, it's about money. And I think that a lot of times when people try to cancel other people is because it's a reflection of themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you said something about me, or I see that you cheated and I'm also out here cheating. And you know what?
Yeah.
That makes me look bad. So I didn't get caught, or I got caught. Now I got to cancel you.
Yeah. It's funny how people project that way. You can always tell, like, in a relationship, who's doing dirt by when they get offended by, like, little things that their partner's doing. It's like
Let me tell you something. I do comedy and I bartend, and there's nothing realer than one being behind the bar, and people, for whatever reason, think that we don't hear anything. We hear everything. So we get the first dates. We get the 2 guys that are there talking about their wives. We get the girls talking about their husbands. We hear everything.
Yeah, while drinking.
Yo, it's while they're drinking.
Yeah.
It's just like a therapy couch.
Well, they say bartender's a therapist.
I don't talk to nobody. I just listen and eavesdrop. I just eavesdrop and I just write material about it.
Yeah, right?
Nah, that's nuts. But it's one of those things that's like a lot of the times we are projecting instead of reflecting. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah.
That's a dope line. Project this.
I'm gonna come back the next episode. I'm gonna have shirts already made. It's gonna be a long ass hashtag. Say that again, Jacob. Say it again.
What was that shit you said last week?
I had a cramp in my wrist just trying to type out this hashtag. Yeah. We should have abbreviated it.
Oh man. So where does, like, mental health come into thought? So I'll tell you a story. We went to the Funny Bone for my birthday this past year, and it was Eddie Griffin, right? And legend, right? He's a legend. We all know that. So the lady we were sitting in the front, right? And the lady was taking our order.
You say lady, the girl. She was like 19.
She was young.
This poor girl.
Yeah. this poor girl, right? So
Let me set the
she
stage.
stands with her back to him. Mind you, we're sitting in the front. It's like 8 of us, right? So was she that loud?
No, but she wasn't that loud, but she's trying to talk to, like, if this table was double, she's where you would be, and she's trying to take our order from over here, and the stage is right there.
So he goes, all right, well, I guess this bitch just wants to take over the show. And, like, called her a bitch, like, 10 times in a matter of, like, a minute.
Yeah.
Right? So I was drunk. I thought it was funny.
It like the first few were funny, and then I like started feeling bad for her. I'm like, damn, this poor girl's been put on the spot. She never came back.
No, actually, that's the crazy shit. We never got none of our stuff that night.
Oh, she quit. She probably definitely quit.
Yeah.
So I ended up going back like a couple weeks later, and we were like talking to one of the other workers, and I guess he like signed a shirt for her and like took a picture with her or whatever the case was. But still, like, just imagine like just being called a bitch 10 times in a minute. This girl literally, we ordered food, we ordered drinks. None of it came.
Yeah, she crumbled.
She literally, and then like they brought us.
The fact that she was called bitch, but the thing that bothers you is that you didn't get your chicken tenders and fries.
Yo,
he just skipped right over that part.
Because it's not
She
cheap.
got called bitch, and guess what? We didn't get our drinks or our food.
But then they still had the audacity to bring us our bill. I'm like, Mom, we didn't even get the shit.
Like she was already
that's
called
what you
a
gotta
bitch.
lead with. That's
You
what
could have been a
gotta
tip bitch.
Yeah, you gotta lead with the.
Yeah,
They still billed us after we didn't get the food.
So, but I say all that to say, like, you know, the mental health aspect, because you can't really just like pick at people. You know what I mean? Can you?
Some comics do. Like, I mean, there's some comics that that's what they do, and it's not that they're picking at. It's like that Don Rickles, approach where they have these jokes and they're just witty.
Who is that?
So I knew I was going to date myself when I said that. Don Rickles was like the original like comic that was roasting people.
Okay.
You ever like look him up after this show? Like this dude would just destroy everybody. He'd do a Friars Club. He was going after Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra. He didn't care. He just went after everybody. He was racist, but he did it in a funny way. He was homophobic, but he did it in a funny way because you're talking about the 60s. He didn't have to do it politically correct.
Right.
He could just be on this arena and this platform and say whatever he wanted. And he's hilarious. I lost my train of thought when I was talking about him. Sorry.
No, so you said something very interesting. So being a comedian, and like you said, funny's funny. So do you ever pick on certain stereotypes or people, races and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I make fun of myself. I mean, I'm honest about my life. I make fun of myself. Like, I don't speak Spanish. I grew up in the Bronx. I was around both my parents in Puerto Rico.
The Bronx.
You know what I mean? And
PTSD.
So if I'm putting myself out there, I talk about my mom doing drugs. I talk about my stepfather being black, growing up in the Baptist church. Like, if I'm putting myself out there, then I'm putting all your shit out there. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not afraid to talk to you. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just trying to get to know you because my personality, if I get to know you, I'm gonna make you part of the show.
It's like a level of vulnerability.
And yeah, I'm gonna show you that, like, yo, we good. Like, and every time I go back to them, it's gonna be a part of it because I want it to be interactive that way. I don't need you to ruin the show. And that's as me on stage. That's when I have to like scope throughout the room. No, this person's too drunk. They're gonna try to steal the show.
Right.
This person's gonna just, and then you get lucky sometimes, and and you have fun with it. And that's what I was saying. Where other comics, that's their thing. They just go up there and they're gonna go after. But most comics, we don't want to talk to the crowd. We just want to do our job. It's just our job. Like when I say, hey, I saw this new show on Fox. I just want you to say yeah or no. I don't want you to tell me when you watch it, how you tape it, when you stream it. Like, no, see, now this is too much of a conversation. Like,
Right.
I just want to do my job. And my job is me asking you, did you see this show? And y'all just say, yeah.
Right.
That's it.
I'm going to keep that in mind. 'Cause sometimes I'll be like, yeah.
So how different is your stage persona than you in real life?
Now it's similar. When I first started, I had a lot of support out here, but I had friends that stopped going to see me perform because they're like, yo, you're so much funnier off stage. On stage, you're just telling jokes, and it looks too like scripted. And one of my best friends, he didn't come see me for like 4 years. And then when he saw me, he was like, all right, now you're starting to become more yourself.
Funny again.
And again, it's like, it's just with time. You gotta find your voice. I think I'm a little more aggressive on stage than I am off. I'm like off stage, I'm very quiet. I'm observing. On stage, I'm I got like a twitch. I'm coming after you because
That's your place to shine.
and that's just my nerves. That's part of my nerves are showing that. Like,
Yeah.
So with cancel culture, and I guess like, because there's so much shit like you might be able to say behind closed doors, but we can't say in front of people or whatever the case is. How do we stop ourselves from becoming boring? You know what I mean? Because there's such a filter. You think so?
We're already there. Like, yeah.
You said we're already there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been there, like I said, and from the age of time, it's, follow this rule. Like, we live free, but hey, if you're not doing the norm, you're the oddball.
I mean,
but by the way, we live free, and it's like, but if you're not living this perfect life,
if you're not doing this what we supposed to,
right? If you didn't go down the path we told you to,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're free. You're free. You do whatever you want.
I mean, that's real because you gotta think, you and I, we're the same all the time, but we're definitely a little filtered when it comes to like recording on the podcast and like talking in front of people.
Well,
so get canceled.
Some things aren't meant for like the public view. Like the way you joke with your boy, not like on some Donald Trump shit, but like the way you joke with your boys and friends. Well, see, it's different because you're a comedian, so you can bring that to work, right? Whereas he works with kids, you know.
See, but even
as long as you don't say your personal information, that's when I think the names come into play, and I think so. You guys have a platform to be who you want because you're going to attract. Again, it goes your support, but you're going to attract people that are just like you.
Right.
That's who you want listening to it.
I like that.
And like I said, we're us. Like we're not.
Right.
It may be just a little watered to a certain extent but even now that I think about it, like I always say at 29 years old now, I'm so comfortable and sure of myself. Like I literally
wait till you turn 39 and 49. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Someone's always there to tell you that, but it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
When you got it good for 20. You got 29 locked.
Right.
But wait to 39 these next 10 years type of thing. You know what I mean? But instead of saying it in a bad way, because I think older generations always tell you ain't shit. Wait till you get to this age. Nah, just like, yo, it's going to be fun.
Right.
This 29 was fun. Wait till the next 20.
Nah, that's a fact. And that's like the way I look at it is like I'm in such a good place, right? And I know I have so much more to go.
Right.
But even with that being said, like sometimes I walk around my school and I'll go into the principal's office and just say some shit I know I got no business saying. The other day, the secretary for the superintendent was sitting in our office, right? The superintendent was in our principal's office. His name is Tyrone. So I was literally in the office with the door open. I said, somebody better call Tyrone, right? Not knowing that his secretary was right there. So then the lady was like, our secretary was like pointing. And I go, oh, what, they gonna fire me? Because I said, but it's
right.
But it's one of those things that it's like I'm at such a comfortable self-awareness spot in my life that like I know I'm always gonna be good. And maybe some of it's ignorance, some of it's confidence, but it's just one of those things that like I do water it down a little in certain places, but I also time and place.
Right.
Yeah.
Time and place.
I don't think there's anything cookie cutter about us, but we definitely, you got to read the room, know your crowd.
Right.
Is there anything you shouldn't joke about, whether it's on stage or you won't, or behind closed doors or whatever?
No, I think you're able to joke about everything. Are there things that are very, very difficult to make fun of? Yeah, but there's humor in everything. That's when you look at the faces. You got the happy face and the sad face. That's what comedy is. With all good jokes come some heartache,
right?
Some pain. That's why most comics are, like going through it, because we go on stage to get the validation of people we don't even know.
Really?
Think about it. The comics that you like are very confident. But how confident can someone be if I needed validation,
right, to
get to this confidence? My whole confidence is based on validation of strangers.
Right.
Now my people's not strangers. I'm always when I started, I used to read a room and be like, oh, these are old people here. I can't talk about sex. Or I'm up in Canton or Avon and they're not going to get the Puerto Rican jokes.
Right.
Then you realize, nah, they do. Old people have sex. How the fuck you think you got here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no, these people get the joke. It's a way of telling them. either what you've been through or what you see.
So do you tell the same jokes in a different way? Like, are you able to flip?
Delivery.
Like, so you
I have a skeleton like set kind of where I know, you know, I know which ways I can go. If I hit this crowd and it's a younger crowd, I would say I guess my ideal crowd would be my age. 40-year-olds,
Right.
mid 40s, because a lot of references I'll make, they could relate to that.
Right.
But I've done colleges, with younger people, and then I've done like fundraisers, older people, and especially in Connecticut, like I said, you walk into a room, you'd be like, oh man, there's 100 old people here. They are not going to get these weed jokes. They're not going to get this sex joke. I'm going to be too aggressive. Right. There's a way to do it. You could be putting it on you, or you could be, you having fun with somebody. Now it's on him, and now they're part of the show. And they come up to you, and the only thing they'll ever tell you is you either talk too fast,
Get that.
You might get the, once in a blue, you're gonna get a lady come up to you and be like, I didn't care for that.
I don't
But
care.
they're not saying it like they're trying to cancel you.
Right.
They're telling you. They're going right to the source.
That's dope.
Do you appreciate that feedback?
Yeah. I want everything. I want the honesty. Like, it's,
Word.
Some people can't handle constructive criticism.
on stage. You don't need them to come up to you afterwards. On
Okay.
stage. When you can't fake laugh, and nobody fakes laughs when they pay a ticket. You invested
It's
money.
not enough liquor in the world, my
Right,
boy.
you invested money. Right, you go to Funny Bone as of any club. You paid to get in. Now you got a drink minimum. You got by just having a little appetizer and 2 drinks, you already at $100-something.
Yeah.
You ain't ready. You ain't just laughing at anything.
It'd be nice if we got it.
So if the crowd's laughing, you got them.
Yo, that's true. That's a fact. So you mentioned something earlier, and then we'll get into our 15 seconds of fame and then wrap up because we chopping it up. Hour goes quick.
Hell
right?
yeah. When
it
you're having a good conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I could chop it up for hours. Stereotypes. Is there? I feel like this is a silly question. Truth, validity.
Absolutely.
But
They want to be so damn funny.
and that's my. Why do people get so upset? Like Puerto Ricans are always late. Yes, we get it. Like
it's like the sibling thing. I could fuck with my little brother all the time, but you can't fuck with him. So stereotypes, you could say it about your own, but nobody wants to hear it about
That's true.
me saying black stereotypes. Black people are gonna be like, whoa. The black comic can say it, but you say it, you being racist. You coming after me, even though it's true.
Yeah.
It's true, but damn it, they gotta find out that
You're
I have
not
a black,
allowed to say that.
right.
Yeah.
They gotta find out I have a black stepfather. Oh, okay. Or you could say that one. You could say that. Well, you can't say that.
so when does it become racist then? Because if a white
How
person,
you say it? It's like anything.
oh, I mean, do you draw the line with certain people saying certain things?
Have y'all seen Bel Air?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The new joint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I recommend it. You watched Fresh Prince, right?
Yeah, of
Growing
course.
up. So the new depiction of it as a drama is dope so far.
That's what I'm hearing.
So there's a point in it, and I'm gonna give away a small scene. I apologize. Where Will goes to the new school with Carlton, and Carlton's actually cool now, right? So Carlton's hanging out with his white friends. His white boy is up on he's up on the thing, and he's singing "Hot Nigga." And he's hitting every nigga on beat. And Will's like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, bro, you don't get to say that. And I know there was a lot of people watching, because when I'm watching, I'm like, what are they doing right now? So it's like, stereotypes are funny, but I know there's certain things, like you said, it's how you say it, right?
Right.
So
Are you saying the stereotype
maliciously
to bother that person, or are you saying the stereotype as a matter of fact type of thing? And not all stereotypes are true for everyone, but a lot of them are. We made the stereotype. It wasn't like another race looked at it and was just like, Puerto Ricans are always late. Nah, Puerto Ricans are always late. That's where it came from us. So it's not. It's a fact.
Right. And that's where I always think about that. It's like, yo, there's got to be some validity to this for everybody to be saying it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that we just said this out of ignorance and hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think people are way too sensitive these days and just want to feel a reason to just, oh, nah, you hurt my feelings, this, that, the third.
So to that point, right, when Trump was getting elected and when Trump was in office, I saw this one kid I went to elementary school with. Haven't talked to him in 15 years, right? And he said something about Trump. He didn't say anything like racist, malicious. He was just like, it could have been like a Make America Great, Go Trump status. People ripped him apart on his status, figured out where he worked, and started calling his job, emailing his job, saying that he's racist. And reading the status objectively, I'm just like, he didn't say anything racist.
Right.
He was just like...
Well, that's the thing. That's what I mean. It became racist. It became... That transition between Barack and Trump made it racist now. Like, where it's like, now if you say something, it doesn't matter your party.
Right.
You know, you're saying it, and, you know, like, if you wanted Trump, then you racist. And it's like, you couldn't even be a minority that agreed with him, because then you're like, yo, you what? And it's like, well, maybe no. Well, it's like any other president. There's some shit I agree with and some shit I don't agree with.
Yeah.
You know, he just had a way of saying it, back to what you said, of how you say things.
Right.
Trump said things where you're like, ooh, that sounds racist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you put it a little too, you know, like, you're not just stating a fact. You pointing somebody out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how you say it.
Nah, that's a fact. Well, shit, it's been about an hour. The way we like to end it up here, we give everybody 15 seconds of fame. So you could talk about anything we just talked about, drop your taglines, say whatever you want to say, and then we'll wrap it up, call it a day. So we'll start with you and then go that way.
I had a blast today.
No, please come back.
Yeah,
this was dope.
Whenever.
This was
Be
dope.
back next Tuesday. No, my name is Darren Rivera. Like I said earlier, you could see me at Mohegan Sun Comics on March 27th. It's a Sunday. I'm working on my new set.
Nice.
Trying to get on cruise ships. Like I said, I just had a newborn, 6 months.
Congrats.
My 20-year-old turns 21. I want to give them both a shout out.
Yeah.
And I bought.
Are they gonna listen to this? Your 21-year-old?
I'll make her.
Okay.
We bought a food trailer as well that we're trying to get kicked off this spring. So look out for that. Goofy Barn. It's gonna, we cater events with adding comedy with it as well.
Ooh, dope.
Yeah. So you could see me, Rice and Bean Joker, on Instagram, Snap, Twitter. It's Rice and Bean, RICENBEAN Joker, all one word. Darren Rivera, Facebook. And this is a lot of fun.
No, I appreciate you coming through.
Thanks for having me.
I'm definitely going to be in there March 27th for sure.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Definitely.
First, again, shout out, Darren. Appreciate you coming. And yeah, my 15 seconds of fame is actually just giving love to the podcast. We got some things coming up soon. Won't necessarily out it just yet, but stay tuned, stay positive, stay true to yourself, and share our shit.
Appreciate you, brother, for coming through. Spencer threw me under the bus kind of last week because he was like, oh, Jacob always writes down his 15 seconds of fame, which is not true at all. But I'm not going to lie, like, I really was kind of nervous about this conversation because, like, it was just like we were going to talk about this, then yesterday we changed it, and then it was just like, yo, but this was a dope conversation.
No, definitely.
So, again, appreciate you, but I guess my 15 seconds, I just want to tell everybody, be ready for the unknown and be ready to be on your toes and for change, because you don't know where you're going to end up, but you know you are where you're supposed to be. So with all that being said,
it wasn't written down either.
No, it wasn't written down. That was off the dome. But yes, this is the best podcast in CT, and this is a wrap on another motherfucking episode because we here to take over.